Believe in yourself. Have confidence that you can do great things. Once you have that belief, you have to work really hard. You have to give it 110% every day in whatever you're pursuing, and don't ever give up. I promise you'll be successful.
I've known Jenner for 30 years. Jenner and I started our careers in the old trust company building. You could tell from the beginning that Jenner was going to run the bank someday. Jenner still embodies a lot of the old values of the old Big Blue Tea, the old trust company bank. That bank has grown, and you can only imagine how important Jenner is. Jenner's smart. Jenner would do well in business, not because he's smart, but because he oozes integrity, because he's got respect for other people. He's the friendliest guy you'll ever meet and cares about people. Jenner's been an important part of Atlanta's success for 40 years.
Probably the most formative time of my youth was when I was told that I was going to boarding school at age 14, and I was on my own. And it was an eye-opening experience for me, and it was probably the best experience for me growing up because I had to learn to be independent. The boarding school had an honor code, a very strict honor code, that you will not lie, and you will not cheat, and you will not steal. Those are so fundamental to the way we should live our lives every day. I attended the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and had a great 4-year experience there, and graduated in 1974. Was really blessed that I was offered a job at Trust Company of Georgia, which is now SunTrust. The interesting thing about SunTrust, it is different from other organizations and other banks, is that we have always had leadership in clusters of 3. And the 3 pillars, the 3 strong pillars, represent the 3 strong leaders that typically have run the company or managed the company. I think the role of a banker in his or her community, it needs to be a role where we give back to the community. We've had a saying at SunTrust for years: you build your community, you build your bank. It's my obligation as a leader of SunTrust to really set the standard and to give back. I do it for the reason that I want to teach my teammates that this is part of our reason for existing, but also it makes me feel good.
Jenner's been involved in this community, I think, ever since he joined the bank. So it's not just been within SunTrust. SunTrust as a company has always been actively involved, but he goes the extra mile. Whether it's sharing fundraising opportunities, which are never easy, especially asking for money. He's always stepped up across the board, has always had a positive attitude toward doing it, and the results are unquestionably successful.
I think if I hadn't been a banker, I know if I hadn't been a banker, I would have been a coach of some kind, because I love working with young people. There's nothing better than seeing some young child smile when you've done something positive for them. You give back and it helps the community, makes the community more successful, and it sure makes me feel good individually.